My name is Uriel, and I was named after my beloved grandfather, Uriel, who died before I was born. Yeah, I know, my family is not very creative, considering the fact that they also called my cousin Uriel. Oh well. Uriel's parents came to Israel in order to populate the Jewish settlement and to build a country. They were one of the founders of Kibbutz Mishmar HaEmek and settled there until the end of their lives, living happily with their large family and the kibbutz members who loved them a lot. Our story begins back in 1923 in Kibbutz Mishmar HaEmek. My grandpa was the first child that was born in the kibbutz. This title was very committing, but it seemed like he was handling it pretty well. He was a true leader, always organizing activities and actions, but leading the children of the kibbutz. He used to help around the kibbutz whenever they needed help, whether it was in the fields or in the factory. All of the children looked up to him as he was the oldest child. The known writer Uriel wrote about him in one of his books and described him as the head of the children group, the judge in their games, and the conflict settler. As he grew up, Uriel liked to be involved and to arrange matters that were important in the public interest, such as being the head of a Shomer Tza'ir group in the educational institution Shomria. After that, he was the presenter of the kibbutzim in the general leadership of the youth movement. Uriel was very active and showed up to every single protest and event that demanded organization. After he graduated Shomria in 1942, Uriel joined the preparation interview for future commanders, and after that became a member in Agana. As a part of his position, he rode on his Harley-Davidson motorcycle, recruiting new members to the organization and arranging the operations. When he came home, he used to work in the fields. He could see his endless love to nature and to the kibbutz while he worked the land. When the relations with the Arabs got worse, Uriel was recruited again to the Haganah in order to defend the kibbutz and the surrounding area. He was in charge of conquering the regional Arab villages during the Independence War. After the declaration of independence, Uriel joined the 14th Battalion of the Golani Brigade and commanded one of the companies. Uriel retired from the IDF as a major in 1951. After his military service, he continued his work back in the kibbutz. He developed the meat industry by establishing a farm for the cattle and planting plants that will be better to it. After that, he went back to work in the fields. In the winter of 1955, Uriel met Tamar, a young student that came to the kibbutz in order to learn the methods of education over there. He ran into her when she moved in and invited her to his place to drink coffee. That was the start of a great friendship, which turned to be an amazing love story. After 3 months, they got married. Tamar volunteered to educate immigrant children, which hundreds of thousands of them came from North Africa, India, Yemen, etc. Tamar was sent to teach at Haruvit, an immigrants camp that was established to consolidate the immigrants that would settle the area of Hevel Lachish, an area in the south between the mountains of Judah and Ashkelon. Uriel, that wanted to be close to Tamar, joined the Bnei Moshavim group. He was sent to guide the Indian immigrants in Nevatim, a moshav in the Negev. Uriel considered it as an important Zionist task and as a natural act to be together with his new wife, even though the kibbutz wasn't pleased of his decision, as he was chosen to fill an important role. Uriel and Tamar lived among the immigrants in Nevatim. During the day, Tamar taught the first grade students, and during the night, she taught the adults Hebrew. Uriel gathered people and created a farming guiders team, a task that took many days and nights. After a year, Uriel was chosen for the second time to that role at the kibbutz, although he was still a tutor at Nevatim, so he went back to the kibbutz to accomplish the job. Tamar stayed at Nevatim to complete the school year as a teacher. But here actually, the first affair between the kibbutz and him was created. Uriel returned to his roles in the kibbutz, arranging the work shifts and his favorite task, the natural pasturing. In the future, he will do all of the pasturing shifts on Saturdays in the mountains. That's also where he will take his children to work with them, to water the cows and to ride horses. In 1956, Uriel went away from his home. He was called to serve in a secret place. Today, we know he was planning one of the attacks in the Sinai Peninsula during Sinai campaign. In 1957, Uriel was chosen to be the administrator of Tama, a factory in the kibbutz that manufactures plastic products. In the winter of 1958, my father was born. In 1967, after 10 years of administrating Tama, Uriel was sent by the kibbutz movement to establish the School of Industry Managers in the kibbutzim. As part of his work over there, Uriel asked from the kibbutz to fund his studies of industry management abroad. The kibbutz refused to help, and that hurt Uriel a lot. He saw the refusal as a fixation of thought. He was also worried that the kibbutz won't give his children permission to study in the university. During their life together, Tamar felt a lot of frustration and lack of self-fulfillment because of the strict lifestyle in the kibbutz. The last final event that caused Tamar to leave the kibbutz was the kibbutz's refusal to give her a couple of hours to fulfill her true passion, art. She told Uriel about her intent to leave, and he tried to convince her otherwise, unsuccessfully. Uriel made a speech in which he talked about his heartbreaking decision to leave. He said that he had to choose between the most important things in his life: his childhood home to which he dedicated his whole life, and his family and beloved wife. Eventually, he chose his family, and together they left the kibbutz in 1968. During his whole life, Uriel kept showing an interest in the actions of the kibbutz. Unfortunately, Uriel's health got worse in his last years. His heart got weaker and weaker, but he tried to hide it as much as he could. 2 days before Uriel passed away, he was invited to the 75th anniversary of the kibbutz. The reunion with all of his friends made him as happy as can be. When he came home after the meeting, full of joy, his heart stopped. May he rest in peace.